introducing some members of this amazing ensemble cast: Charles Melton, Natalie Portman, and Julianne. Thank you all so much for being here, and congratulations. I mean this in the best way.
11 years old, 1992 on Leon, the Professional.
Not even like a commercial or anything, just right into Leon?
I tried out for a lot of commercials and never got it done.
We'll keep trying.
Well, Todd, how about yours?
Yeah, actually, you've acted in some of your films, haven't you?
No, I haven't, but did I? I was in commercials when I was
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I did a McDonald's commercial when I was 7.
Yes. Child actor. And look at how good you turned out. Charles, for you?
I was 26 and I had this guest star on Glee in season 5. I think it was episode 5. 37 minutes in, 43 seconds. Don't think you might miss me. And I remember on Wilshire walking to the SAG building and getting my SAG card, and yes.
Oh, wow. Did you sing on Glee, or was it?
Oh, no.
Well, again, congratulations on a wonderful movie.
Actor's Eye first, I think it was just immediately so clear how rich these characters were and how rare it was to find something that was so specific and so detailed and so complicated, where you never really know how you feel about any of the characters. And then, of course, yeah, I guess it was actors dreaming that led me to have the producer's eye, which I was like, I wish Todd Haynes would direct this. And then, of course, Todd brought along the dream of Julie and Charles. I mean, just like the best people possible to work with.
You do find your alliances shifting throughout the movie. I'm curious if even now, having made this movie and now it's complete, do your feelings on Elizabeth still shift?
Well, I feel like you can't really judge a character when you play it. You just have to kind of understand what they're doing at the time they're doing it, which also sometimes, like, I always find it really funny that so many acting instructions are like, figure out the motivation. I'm like, I don't know my motivation in life. Like I feel like most humans don't. So, I think just understanding what propels their actions, even though they might not be conscious of it. And I think that's how most of these characters are operating, which is kind of unconsciously.
Yeah, and they're fascinating. I never know what they're going to do next.
It's been the great miracle of my life to have this collaboration with him. I honestly can't believe it, because I was telling him that I walked by the building in New York where I first auditioned for him for SAFE, and I was like, I could remember going up there and how nervous I was and what I was wearing and all of that. So no, it's not a... I love the idea that people think we're a package deal, but I'm just so grateful every time he offers me a job. And this one came completely out of the blue. I mean, it really did. And he was like, Natalie Portman sent me the script, and I thought of you. What do you think of this? And it was amazing, astonishing, and really just another, great gift that came my way. But yeah. Yes, I'm always that. So it's not a fait accompli, believe me. It's like he has lots of people to choose from, so I'm very happy when he chooses me.
I mean, I feel like we're seeing improvement in roles, especially women's roles on screen, but when you get a script that has, an amazing, complex, fun role for a woman, and then there's 2, I mean, what is your reaction? Do you immediately start thinking about who your co-stars can be?
This was astonishing, and Natalie and I have been talking about this today too. The fact that here's a relationship that's so intimate, so challenging, so unusual, and they're not related to one another. It's not a love story. It's simply 2 independent women and their interaction with each other, and it's combative and kind of I don't know, complicated, and admiring. And, you know, when I think about Gracie's desire, you know, so much for approval from this woman, she's saying, you know, this is who I am. I want you to see me, but see me how I see myself too. So she keeps showing her, dropping all these crumbs about how she wants to be seen, and then gradually starts to crack under the pressure of actually being seen.
Yeah.
So that kind of challenge, to be able to play that with someone, to have that like in the makeup scene, to have that kind of intimacy with another actor, actress, is very unusual, as I think a lot of female performers here would attest to.
And did you know each other well going? I just always assume there's like this club in New York where Oscar-winning actresses, like, you know, show their cock, bring your Oscar and get in.
We didn't know each other well, no, but we had met several times.
At the club.
Yeah, at the club. At the club.
I know there's a club.
I wrote Natalie an email after Black Swan because I so admired that performance, and I'd seen her around, you know, like, you know, at the club and stuff. And no, but you'd see, you know, you honestly see people at like press events or screenings or something, but just socially. And I just was so blown away by that performance, and so wrote to her then. But we hadn't worked together, so.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I've admired Julie my entire life. I mean, it's just like film after film after film after film. So spectacular, and yeah, it was like I had to pinch myself every day that I got to work opposite her and with Todd, who's like, anyway.
I mean, your whole ensemble, every single role is so brilliantly cast. And Charles, you're such a discovery in this movie. I mean, this role and this character are so endlessly complicated. If there's a sequel, I could just follow him for a few more hours. Can you sort of walk us through, you know, did you get the script? Was it a typical audition, or did you know you were going to be sharing scenes with Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman?
I did know, and I was honestly every day pinching myself on set, working with these two masters, icons in their craft, and with Todd just leading the way. This was last summer when I got the audition. Laura Rosenthal, our casting director that Todd works with frequently, sent me signs, and it was kind of this 6-week process of taping. And I remember after I sent in my first tape, my team was like, "These are notes from Todd Haynes." And I was like, wait, did he type these notes? And, you know, it was kind of a process of really not trying to book the job, but more so kind of diving into the history of Joe and who this man was. And the next thing I knew, I was flying out to New York to do a chemistry read with Julie and Todd. I remember standing outside the audition room, and I heard Todd and Julie talking, and then I heard Laura talking. And I stood out there for like, it felt like forever, but it was like 45 seconds, and then I just went in, and then I kind of disappeared and came back out, and then found out that I got the job a couple weeks later, and it's crazy.
First of all, an amazing piece of writing that is like a rare moment where this character is alone, and so this movie, which is in many ways about performance, like it is a moment where it's this dual thing of she's performing a monologue, but she's, for one of the only times, without an audience. So she's actually not performing, and there's something incredibly like truthful and about that moment. And it was a gift that Todd chose to shoot it that way, because with the limited time we had, we were able to do many takes. So I think we did 8 takes.
Which was more than usual.
Yeah, but it was so fun to get to play, and so lucky. And we just tried. I mean, we knew it was only going to be one take that would be used, so we just tried lots of different things that were more cold, more emotional, more varied, more sexual, and we just like got to play, which was super lucky. And yeah, I feel like that moment and then the moment in like the pet store like are like two moments where she's alone, and you kind of feel like in those moments you know her better than any other time, because the two of them are like master manipulators and master performers who can like shift to whatever the situation calls for. And so it's like a pleasure when you get to experience them when they're like not trying to be anything for anyone else.
Do you remember how long the monologue was on the page? Like 3 pages, 4?
Charles says it was a page.
Just a page. I would
I
just
think it was a little more than that, but I might be wrong. A little more
It's
than
like,
one.
One and a half.
Maybe. Yeah.
somebody.
I mean,
tell-
it runs about 5 minutes.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's so. I mean, was it intimidating at all to know they're just going to hold on your face for 5 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, it was mainly like, I think mainly as an actor, when you have something like that, you're just like, how do you thread it from one thought to another so that it has logic and variation and isn't monotonous? Like, you have to, find those kind of ebbs and flows. And, but it was amazing writing. And also Julie gave me like the gift of all gifts when she like created this character that I was like drawing from, of course, that she figured out the character, and then I was like getting to mimic that.
Actually, there's another meta level because you're an actress playing an actress following. It goes on and on.
There's many layers.
I do want to ask actually Julianne about.
There's that moment, I think, as an actor when you're trying to make a vocal choice, when you're like, oh, can I do this? Is this the right thing to do? I needed, first of all, technically, and because this is a group of actors, it's kind of important to say this, when you make decisions artistically, but you also make decisions collectively in film and within a film, I knew full well that there was something I needed to do that Natalie could do, right? And so, you start kind of thinking about it, and I'm not thinking, I know that that's a reality, but I'm also sort of like looking for Gracie. And in doing kind of my research and looking at a lot of our source material and stuff too, I did notice something in Mary Kay Letourneau's speech pattern. She doesn't have a lisp, but she did have sort of the way she held her mouth. And I was really intrigued by it. And because of her, Gracie's insistence on her kind of femininity and the childlike quality that she presents all the time, I wanted to kind of lean into that. So that's sort of where that happened. All of it, like the nap dress, with the fluffy, always the cap sleeves and the ruffles and stuff, and talking about how protected she was, and her narrative of being a child almost. And so the lisp was something that kind of illuminated that, and then also worked for us technically too. But it is really scary because, of course, and then when I started doing it, Todd was like, "Are you doing a lisp?" I was like, "Yeah." Because we didn't talk about it.
Also,
We didn't,
this happened at lightning speed,
Yeah, it was
where
so fast. Yeah,
where
yeah.
Julianne had to establish who this character was within the first days of her work. That had to be decisive, and we had these conversations about Mary Kay Letourneau, the research we were doing, and that sort of princess syndrome. So it all, and the color palette and the hair and all of these things were reinforcing these ideas, but it put a tremendous, inordinate amount of burden on Julianne to come up with these decisions immediately as we were starting to shoot, and we began with that barbecue scene at the beginning of the movie when we were all together, so that Natalie had palpable, concrete things to start to build.
I heard the list.
Performance.
I got something. We had no idea what we were going to do because we didn't rehearse, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to act act like her, but I don't know what she's gonna act
Right.
like, and I'm starting to shoot, and you're like,
And there was a period too where we had all these scheduling problems, and it looked like maybe they were gonna start shooting with Natalie before I even arrived to Savannah. And Todd was like, "So do you think you could Zoom with Natalie and just like do some stuff?" I mean, we were just freaked out. We really didn't know. And then luckily, our schedules all kind of aligned. But there were lots of very, very rapid decisions in terms of behavior. And but Todd gives you so much context as an actor. I talk about this a lot, about the frame that you operate. And I know this because the 5 times I've worked with him, he makes it so easy because I know where I am in time. I know where I am physically. I know what the shot is. I know what he's communicating with the shot. I understand, he shares with you all of his research, all of his ideas. So he communicates to me what he wants in everything that he does. So he gives me all of this information, and then I'm able to make decisions. You're never alone. You have so much support and so much. He makes everything very easy. It's like he does all the work, honestly.
I'm glad that you got there.